What this is going to give you a brief overview of the program. And I'm just checking if everybody can see my screen. And can you guys hear me too?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, so what you see here is just a basic demo I have put together to make sure that you guys can see my screen. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today we're going to go over the webinar for the ViViD program. It's going to give you a brief overview of the program, how to get a basic message out there, and it's going to give you some information about some of the features of the program. I'm also going to answer any questions that you have regarding the software if you're able to check out some of the training videos that are available on the disk or any experiences that you have with the program. So what you see here is just a quick demo. I'm going to go ahead and start with a fresh new setup. So when you first run the program, which is a ViViD program, you're most likely going to be working with a full color or grayscale type sign. With a grayscale type sign or full color sign, you're going to be using this ViViD program. And one important part before you get started in creating your messages is to know the matrix size of your sign. The matrix size of your sign is important to know because you're going to be formatting your messages in that size. And if it's the wrong size and you send it out there, it won't look right on your sign. And you might miss some letters or formatting will look kind of weird. So you want to make sure that you know your matrix size of your sign. The best way to figure that out is to look at your model number. And your model number will have a number times a number at the very end. And at the very end is usually like a 32 by 96 or a 16 by 80. There are a lot of people in the room today, so you most likely can be working with different type of matrix sizes available.
Sorry, you said it was in the far right-hand corner?
It's on the far right-hand side of your model number. So it should be like a number times a number. So if you have your model number available, what you want to do is look at the very end of the model number, and it gives you a matrix size there. So it should say something like 48 by 128, 16 by 80, basically a number times a number.
Okay.
That is going to be the matrix size of your sign and resolution. So to get started with the program, what you see here is the first thing you want to do when you get it started is to go to Setup on the top and click on Sign Setup. When you click on Sign Setup, it's going to ask you for the resolution of your sign. That's why that's the most important part, because it's going to be formatting to your matrix size of your sign. So right now, I got 48 by 96. I'm just going to start with a basic 32 by 80.
It won't be prompted to show your own sign size. You would have to, if you're lucky, it does, or else you would have to change it yourself, right?
Yeah, you would have to change it yourself and set it up for your sign. Because we're working with multiple signs, it just gives you a default number,
Okay.
and you most likely have to set it up to your matrix size. So today I'm going to be working with a 32 by 80 matrix size. Again, it's going to be different for everybody. So again, you want to make note of what your matrix size is set to, so you set it up to the resolution and formatting will be correct. So once you have that number set for height and width, you're going to enter that here under Sign Setup. It's going to ask you for color type. You have three different color types. One is RGB or full color. Next one is all red or all yellow/amber. I'm going to be working in RGB full color today, but the ideas for both red and yellow are the same for the full color. So I'm going to choose RGB for color type, and height for single line sign, you really don't have to worry about, just keep it at normal.
Okay, so the RGB is all colors?
Right. And once you have that set up, everything looks good, just hit OK here. And it's going to ask you if you want to change your sign to that matrix size and the color type. You're going to hit yes here, and it's going to format it to your size. So I'm working on a 32 by 80, which you see here. Now if I show you a different example, let's say 32 by 96, hit OK here, hit yes, you'll notice that the black box kind of stretches out. So this conforms to the matrix size of your sign. So again, you want to make sure the matrix size of your sign is correct, so the formatting will be right on your sign. So when you first get started with a program, you're going to see something like this. At the very top, that first menu bar, it's just basic open file, new file, save file. You have cut, copy, paste here on the top for different objects. This next section right here is for the zoom in, zoom out. So right now the screen might look a little bit small. You could use it to kind of zoom in to get a closer look at your size. You could also use this as like a reference for your sign as far as distance. So again, we're working with multiple people here, and I'm pretty sure everybody's going to have a different setup for your sign. Either if it's going to be 40 feet in the air, 10 feet in the air, low to the ground, on a wall, etc. You can kind of use this as a reference for distance, as well as making yourself see what you're putting on your sign. So again, these are the magnification buttons to kind of zoom in and zoom out. When you're working with multiple frames, the idea of this program is kind of like a slideshow. So you're working with multiple frames on the project. You have new frame, insert frame, or delete frame. As you get going on this project, you'll see different frames get added to the project file here. This next button right here is to preview all frames. So if you have created your project, you want to see everything in plain order, you hit this button right here, it'll give you a window, and it'll preview all the frames from order, from frame 1 to whatever. So you can kind of preview it before you send it out there.
Which button did you press? Sorry.
It's going to be this button right here on the top.
Preview all frames, okay.
This next button right here is to send to the sign. If you completed your project file, everything looks good, you like what you see, just hit this button right here and it'll send it out to the sign and upload your file there. This next button right here, just get basic sign information like current time, temperature, etc. You can also use that to test connection if you wanted to. This next section right here is for the advanced frame. You get to work with two types of frames in the program, an advanced frame and a basic frame. This whole menu bar right here controls the properties of the advanced frame. Once I get into creating an advanced frame, I'll explain that a little bit more. I'm just giving you an overview of what this is. These next set of buttons for hotkeys, which I'll explain to you in a little bit later too. Now over here, in this black area, again, is your sign, according to the metric size of your sign. So this is going to be what your sign looks like. Right now I have nothing in there, so my sign is going to be black.
Even though that you made it the size bigger, right?
Yeah.
It's still going to only put the information that you're supposed to have on, right?
Right, I just showed you the two differences between matrix sizes as far as setting it up. So I had a 32 by 80 earlier. It was a little bit smaller, and let's say I'm working on another sign is 32 by 96. I added that, and you see that it kind of expanded the length of the black frame. So this is a visual representation of your sign right now. So right now I have a blank message, so my sign is going to be blank if I send something out there. Over here on the left-hand side is a line presentation function window. What this is like a reference for your animations that you're able to put on your sign. You're going to have a white box for every frame that you add. So whatever you have here is going to apply to the frame to the right. Over here, this A button stands for Advanced Frame. So you get to switch between the two frames. You're not blocked into one frame when you're creating a frame. So you get to choose between Advanced Frame here or Basic Frame here. This next button right here is to preview the frame. Just like the Preview All Frame button window right here. If you just want to preview this specific frame, you just hit the Preview Frame button right above the frame itself. So it'll animate what you created in this one frame. The BK button here stands for a background. You have the ability to add backgrounds and logos to your message, which I'll get to in a bit. These three components right here control the backgrounds. and you can have a background for each frame that you add in your project. Now if you go to Frame or View on the top here, and click on Frame Inspector, on the right hand side you'll see a Frame Inspector window, and this just basically gives you an overview of all the frames that you have in your project from 1 to whatever. And you can use a cut, copy, and paste to delete frames or paste frames in there. If you want to change the order of the frames, just select the frame you want and then use the up and down arrow keys here to change the order of the frames. If you want to delete a frame altogether, you see this little red X right here. Just select the frame that you want and hit the red X, and that'll delete the frame that you don't want. So as we're going to go through today, you'll see that the frame inspector to the right kind of fills up with all the different frames. So let's go ahead and get started creating a basic frame. But before we get started, does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the basic frame. So right now, you'll see that the A button and the B button are here. You got the B frame button pushed down. That means I'm working on a basic frame. So if I were to click on the basic frame right now, you don't see any cursor or anything or any type of action that is ready to send a message. Well, to do that, what you want to do, and this only applies to the basic frame, you'll see a little P button here on the top right hand corner of the frame. What this is a basic frame property window. So if I were to hit that right now, you see a little property window pop up. So this property window actually controls the basic frame. So everything that I want to do to control the basic frame is going to be stuck in this little window right here. That includes text, font, the style, along with text color and background color, with alignment and the size of the font. So again, if I want to go into my basic frame and start typing in my message, just hit the little P button here. And in case you lose that little window, just hit the P button again to bring it back. So let's go ahead and start typing a message. I'm going to type in hello in the little text box here. And as you can see, as I start to type in hello, you'll see that hello shows up here in the blank frame.
I love you too.
If I want to change the font, I can use a little pull down menu here to the bottom and then change the font. It's pretty much personal preference of what type of font you like to use. You want to keep in mind how your sign is set up as far as height and what's around, because you want to make it so everybody can read it. So you want to choose the best font so that nobody will be looking at it kind of squinting and trying to figure out what you put up there. So usually block type lettering font will work the best. Default is Arial font. That usually works the best here. You could use all caps if you wanted to or not, you know. I guess some people consider all caps kind of like you're yelling at people, so I don't know if you want to yell at people or not. If you want to, you can. But you have that option too by using caps. Right now it's only one line. If I want to add a second line to it, I just hit enter. And just like any word processor, I can start typing in my second line. And you'll notice that the frame automatically splits it for you for 2 lines. If you want to add a third line to it, go back to the here, hit enter. I'll type in my third line right here. If I wanted to, I could add another line right here, hit enter again, and type in my 4th line. Now what you want to keep in mind is your matrix size of your sign, because each line is about 8 pixels high. So today I'm working on a 32 by 96. And again, keeping in mind that each line is 8 pixels high, if you do 32 divided by 8, you get 4 lines. So I can pretty much do up to 4 lines of text before, if I add any more lines, the text is going to get smaller and harder to read. So if I try to add another line here, you kind of see that it can go to 5 lines, but the text gets smaller and harder to read. So on the basic frame, what you want to keep in mind is 8 pixels per line. So I'm working on a 32 by 96. 8 pixels gives me about 4 lines of text. And that will usually be the best practice. On the advanced frame, it'll give you that max. But on a basic frame, you can pretty much go unlimited. But keep in mind again that 8 pixels per line will be the best way to keep your messages clean. If you want to remove some lines of text, just go back to the text edit box here and just start deleting your line. It'll split it back into 3. I want to go back to 2 line. I'm going to go back to 1 line. So let's say I'm happy with my 2 lines of text. I have the ability to change my style. Right now it's at normal style. If I want to change the shadow, I can add a shadow to it. Just hit the style shadow, and then on the right hand side is the color of the shadow. I click on the black area here, and I have a color palette that I could use. And so I go with this color and hit OK. And I have a shadow behind my text, if you can kind of see it. If I want to change the text color of the whole frame, I just click on the text color box under text color, and say I pick this color right here, and now it's going to apply to all the text in the frame. If I want to change the background color of the frame itself, again, click on this box right here, and say I go with this color, and now my background color has been changed to this one. This will apply to the whole frame, so you kind of choose what you want as far as color. Probably want to keep in mind that you don't want to use bright colors. Your sign's an LED sign, so when you put it out there and use a bright color, it might blind people that are driving by. So usually dark background colors will work the best, with the lettering being bright, so that'll pop out and get attention, rather than a full background with a bright color that might end up blinding people that are passing by. Again, it's personal preference what you want to do, but you want to keep that in mind when you're trying to send out messages to your sign. If you want to change the style, you have another option here for outline. Let's say I don't like shadow, I'll put it to outline. And now instead of a shadow behind it, I have an outline around my text. So I got yellow text here along with an outline of purple around it, or a blue. And I have that as an outline. So again, this applies to every line of text that I have here in the basic frame. Everything within this property window will apply to the basic frame. You want to keep that in mind as well. Now let's say I want to change some color for a different line. Like say I want to change hello to a different color. If I look here under the text edit box, you'll see that there's little yellow boxes here showing different colors that I could choose. So if I click on this one, I could change it to a different color if I wanted to. Let's say I want to change it to pink. Hit OK, and now pink will apply just this top line. If I want to change the bottom line to a different color, let's say orange, hit orange, and I have orange here. So I got pink on the top line, orange on the second line. I have an outline of purple, and that's applied to everything here. Unfortunately, you cannot do an outline and then a shadow on one of them. That's going to be only in the advanced frame. Again, basic frame is keep everything simple and easy, where everything is going to be controlled by this one frame, and it applies to everything here. So let's say I want to change it back to all yellow. Just click on text color, hit yellow, and it'll change everything back. So keep it in mind again, basic frame keeps everything simple, and everything will apply to just this frame itself. If you want to change the alignment, right now I have it on default left justified. I could put it in the center by hitting the center here. If I want to put it to the right, I can hit right justify, that'll move it to the right. If I want to keep it on the center, just hit center right here. And I can adjust some of my text here. To kind of fit some of the text. Now you notice that I have my text pretty large and it's 2 lines, but you see that the Y gets kind of cut off here. If you look under font size adjust, you can kind of adjust it so it'll fit for you and kind of play around with the font size. There is a minimum and a maximum you can do for font size, so you kind of play around with it and see what you like. So I can pretty much keep going until it's pretty much unreadable, so depending how you want to have that set up. Now, does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so let's say I'm happy with his basic frame. One thing you want to keep in mind is you always want to save your files just in case something happens, like a power outage or, you know, computer going out on you. Always want to save your files. You do file, you just do save or save as. And I'm just going to keep it as today's date, which is 404. Call it demo. Save it. And now I have my first basic frame. So let's say we want to add animation to this basic frame. So we're going to do
save. Did you just want to file?
Yeah, I just went to file and do save.
Okay.
And you can save it to any location that you want. I just saved it
my next question, if you could save as somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah, I just hit file, save as, and you can save it in any location. I just have it in a webinar demo folder. You can save it on the desktop or any other location that you want. You just want to keep in mind where you save them so you can get back to it later on. You guys have any other questions so far? Okay, so let's say I'm happy with my basic frame. Everything looks good, but I want to add some animation to it. So to add animation to it, again, we're going to look to the white box here on the left-hand side. If you click on the white box, a line presentation function window will pop up. And what this is a presentation function that lets you choose what you want for the message coming in and then leaving. So we want to have an animation for the message coming in. So we have a list here on the left-hand side for message in functions. So we can actually look through this list right here and see what we like. Let's go with a basic one, travel in. So I'm going to click on travel in. And once I click on travel in, over here there's an open text box where a capital T comes in. And if you'll notice here on the left-hand side, there's a letter for each animation that you have chosen for both the message in and message out function. So as you choose different message in, message out functions, that'll show up here on the bottom, as well as show up here in green to show you what you've chosen. So I got travel in, I selected travel in. So if I were to scroll down and see what I have available, you'll notice I have a pause and a wait function as well. So let's say I want to have it travel in, and I want to have it wait there for a few seconds before leaving. Because if I do, let's say, travel in and travel out, it's just going to come in and leave. The customer won't have time to read the message to see what's going on. So let's say I want to have it wait for a few seconds. I'll click on wait. And I'm going to type in the amount of seconds I want. I'll go with 4 seconds. I have to type that in. So if I look here, I got capital T for travel in. I have a lowercase w for wait, and I typed in 4 seconds. And you can see that it also shows here in green, right under the text box. And I want to choose a message out function. I'll go with travel out. And now I got travel in. Now it looks like travel out got moved to the center. If that's the case, you can always go back here delete that, and then move the cursor after and type in lowercase t. Because what it does, it reads from right to left as far as the order. So you don't want it to travel in and travel out and wait for 4 seconds of blank message. So double checking everything, I got travel in, wait 4 seconds, and travel out. If everything looks good, I can hit OK here. And you'll notice that the window on the left-hand side gets populated with the animations I chose. So now I got travel in, wait 4 seconds, and travel out, and it's going to apply to everything here on the right-hand side of the frame. So I can kind of play around with the animations on that list to see what I like before sending it out there. So let's say I want to preview this message. I'm going to go to the preview frame button here. I'm going to hit this. Now there might be a little bit of a lag just because it's going through internet. So just let me know. I'll see if I can explain it to you. So basically I'm going to hit preview here. And what it is, it's going to travel from the right hand side. It's going to hit the center right here. As you see, the frame stills. It's still. And it's going to sit here for 4 seconds, and then after 4 seconds, it's going to leave to the left. So I'm going to hit the preview frame button, and hopefully it'll show up for you. I'm going to hit that right now. So I'm going to hit the preview frame window. You'll see that it travels in. It's going to hit there and sit for 4 seconds. And then after that is done, it'll scroll out. Did you guys catch that? I'll take the silence as yes, you did. Okay, so what you want to do is everything looks good. Just do file and do save. And then I'm going to preview it one more time just to make sure. So I'll hit preview frame button. It's going to pop up the same window. It's going to scroll in again from the right hand side. It's going to move and hit there for 4 seconds. And it's going to scroll out. And now we've finished our basic frame. So let me review real quick. On the basic frame, again, if you want to control the basic frame, everything's going to be controlled by the P button here on the far right hand side. You're going to hit the P button, it'll bring up the property window. All the text that you want to put in the basic frame is going to be shown here in the text edit box. If you want to change the color for each specific line, you can do that by clicking the yellow boxes here on the left of the line. If you want to add more lines, just hit enter and keep adding until you like what you see as far as messages. If you want to change the font, use the little pull down menu here to change the font that you want to use. It only gives you a short list. If you want to add more to the list, just hit the more font button here. It'll bring up another list that you can pull from your computer. If you want to change the style, again, it applies to everything in the frame. If you want a normal text without any shadow or outline, you can hit that. If you want a shadow, just hit shadow. If you want outline, just hit outline. If you want to change the color of the shadow or outline, just hit the text color box here on the right. If you want to change all of the text within the frame, this is where the text color box goes into play. If you want to change the background color, you can click the background color box here, and it'll apply to everything within the frame. For alignment, you can put it to the left, center, or right using these buttons right here. If you want to adjust the font size, you just use the up and down buttons to increase or decrease the font size to make the font fit and make sure it's readable. Now if you want to preview this frame again, just hit the little preview button here on the top. And again, everything will apply to the right of the animation function window. So I choose an animation here, and this will apply to everything within the frame. Again, basic frame is keeping everything simple, so you have to micromanage anything. you want to change your animation, just click on the white box again. You can delete this from the text box and choose a different animation if you wanted to. You get the freedom to kind of play around and see what you like here from this list. If everything looks good, just hit OK, and I'm done with my first frame. I go to File, hit Save, to make sure you want to save it. And now we're going to go into our next frame. So everything looks good here. I'll go to another frame. I can do that by hitting the Add Frame button here. Or if I want, I can go to Frame and hit Add Frame here. So you're going to hit Add Frame. It's going to bring me another frame right under it. And you'll notice the text frame or the property window kind of clears out because it's applying to the second frame right here. If I go to the frame above it, you'll see that the property window changes and it applies to everything within this frame right here. But I click on the second frame, the property window clears out, and now this property window applies to the second frame. And if you look on the right hand side under the frame inspector, I got frame number 1 set here, and I got a blank frame number 2. Now before I get started again, does anybody have any questions? Okay, we'll go to the next frame. So, if you remember, I use a travel in, travel out for the basic frame. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind, if you think about it, travel in, travel out works pretty good for scrolling text. So some of you might want to use scrolling text within your sign. But with a basic frame, again, it's keeping everything simple. What you see in your frame is what you're going to get. So if you want to have a message that has extended text on it, so let me type in something here. So if you look here, on my property window I put, this is a message with scrolling text. Now you'll notice that the text is too large and it goes off of the screen. And technically, if I were to use the travel in, travel out function, it should be able to scroll the whole thing as if it's passing by, kind of like a ticker on one of those signs, the stock signs or so, with news. So if I were to click this white box on the left-hand side and click travel in and then travel out without a wait function in between there, it's just going to travel in and travel out like it's scrolling, and hit OK. I'm going to try this right here with the text coming out of the frame. So I'm going to hit play. It's going to give me the scrolling text right here, like it's scrolling. So check this out. Once it hits the end, you'll see that it cuts off and it won't scroll the rest of the message, like so. You see that? It gets cut off right here. So again, this only applies to the basic frame. The basic frame idea, again, is just to keep everything simple. Anything you want to do advanced is going to be more along the lines than the advanced frame. So another thing to keep in mind with the basic frame is that what you see within the frame is what you're going to get. Nothing past it or nothing before it. Whatever you see here is what you're going to see on the basic frame. So you just want to keep that in mind on a basic frame. Again, this only applies to the travel in, travel out function if you're trying to use a scrolling text message. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the advanced frame now. So I'm going to close out this property window. I'm going to turn this frame from a basic frame to an advanced frame. So to do that, you hit the A button here. It's going to ask me, text will be cleared. Click yes to continue. Because I don't want to work on a basic frame anymore. I want to do an advanced frame. Just hit yes. It'll clear out the advanced frame. And you'll notice when I change it to advanced frame, there's a few extra buttons here. Now that travel in, travel out I had from the previous frame was still in there. I can always click on it, delete it, if it's not in there. Like so. And that'll clear it out. Now with the advanced frame, By default, it automatically splits it up for you in 4 lines. Remember I was telling you, depending on the sign that you're working with, you take that matrix size height, divide that by 8, and that'll give you your max amount of lines on your sign. I'm working on a 32 high, divide that by 8, I got 4 lines. So in the advanced frame, it automatically splits it for me into 4 lines, as you can see here. The white box on the left, again, represents the animations you have, but it also shows you what you could do as far as amount of lines in the advanced frame. So these lines right here count as divider lines for each line. So if you count it 1, 2, 3, 4, those are the amount of lines you get to work with on the advanced frame. You can't go any more. You can go less, but it gives you, again, the max amount of lines you can have on the advanced frame and on your sign. So you're thinking about, what about these buttons right here? These buttons are for divider lines. So if I hit number 1 right here, it removes this divider line. Boom. I hit that, it's raised up, you see the divider line disappears. Push it down again, divider line comes back. Do the same thing for number 2. That applies to this line right here. Hit this button again, I go to number 3. Now it's remove that divider line, and now these two are combined as one line, and you see smaller lines here. If I hit this button again, I go back to 4 lines. If I want to raise them all up, hit this button right here. That'll bring it all back up. If I want to push them all down, hit this button again, and I'll lower all the buttons so I have all divider lines again. So just like on the basic frame, I got 4 lines, so I could go line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. So I have 4 lines of text just like on the basic frame. Now let's see what happens if I were to raise one of these divider lines. So I got 4 lines right here. And remember how each line is about 8 pixels high? If I were to hit this button, that'll remove this divider line. And it'll combine line 1 and 2 to make one large line. So if I hit that, line 1 shows up combined with line 2. And now it's going to be 16 high rather than 8 high. If I were to hit this button again, it'll bring it down. I got lines 1 and 2 back split. If I go to this divider line number 2, it's going to remove this divider line here, and lines 2 and 3 will combine to make one large line. So I got line 1 is 8 pixels high. I got lines 2 and 3 combined to make one large line. And line 4 is a 8 pixel high line as well. Hit this button again as bring the divider line back, and I'm back to 4 lines. I'll hit this button number 1 to remove that bottom line, and now line 3 and 4 combine to make one large line. So as far as formatting, you kind of play around with the advanced frame as far as combining lines 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, will make one large line. What you want to keep in mind, it'll make a large line, but as you have a larger text, the amount of space is going to be less as far as your message. So I could put in hello as a large line, but as I type more in there, you can only fit this much. So the best thing to do is kind of split up your message to get the complete line there. So keep that in mind when you're creating your message. If you want to create large text or smaller text, you go ahead and kind of play around with the formatting of the advanced frame. So does anybody have any other questions so far with the advanced frame? Now with the formatting, just like on the basic frame, we're going to look up top here. On the basic frame, you have the property window button right here. If I were to go back to the basic frame, hit the P button, and it brings up this property window. And again, everything is controlled by the basic frame by this property window. So if I were to close it out and go back to the advanced frame, and hit the P button again, I try to hit the P button, and then nothing pops up. The reason for that, the property window only applies to the basic frame. And to control the advanced frame, everything's going to be controlled by this menu bar up top. If you remember, it was kind of faded out earlier when I was explaining it in the beginning, because I'm only working on the basic frame. So let's say you go back to this basic frame for frame number 1. You notice that all the buttons here fade out because you cannot use this bar for the basic frame. Again, it only applies to the advanced frame. So I go back to the advanced frame, and you'll notice that the menu bar here kind of lights up. So just like on a basic frame, if I want to change the font, I highlight all of them here. Let's say I want to change the color to say all yellow. And now all the text is going to be yellow. If I want to change the background color, just highlight the text. Change the background color to say a different color. Let's say, let's go with dark purple. And on the basic frame, you notice how the background applies to everything. On the advanced frame, it only applies to the text itself. So actually, if I wanted to have the whole thing fill up, I can start typing in more to the message. And it only applies to the text. If I want to have a color background with nothing there, I could always hit the space bar like so. You can see that it fills up the line. And that would have to be through the whole thing if I wanted the whole thing filled up. So in a way, basic frame kind of is better because you get to choose a full background color and apply it to the whole frame. Whereas on the advanced frame, you kind of use it to kind of fill up just certain sections of text, or if you want the whole background. So it's pretty much personal preference as far as what you want to use for each frame. So I got a full background of purple, but I have to do each space bar to fill it up, or add more text to it to kind of fill up the background. If I want to bring it back so there's no background on it, just delete all the text. Like so. If I wanted to remove the background, just highlight the text again, click on the background, just do black. Hit OK, and then you got a black background again. Just like on the basic frame, if you want to control each line for color, just highlight the line you want to change. Click up top here for color, and choose the color that you want. So I could have each individual line have its own color, just like on a basic frame. Everything looks good. I'll hit save again. Did you guys have any other questions so far?
Yeah, sorry. So
Yeah.
with the advanced frame, you only could change color and text, right?
On the advanced frame, you could change the text color as well as background.
The background, right. Background, you only could fill out the background, right?
Yeah, if you want to fill out the background, you'd have to hit like either the space bar,
right,
or extend the text. Like I only have line 1 through 4.
Right.
If I want to have more to the background, I just have to extend it by adding more text here.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Versus the basic frame, you could do all the other background on the lettering and everything else.
The advanced frame lets you do that. I'm going to get into that too. But as far as the background part, that's a little bit different, where the background only applies to the text, whereas on the background on the basic frame applies to the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so Basic's trying to keep it simple for you, So you just have everything filled up. You just have to do that once, it'll fill up everything. On the advanced frame, it lets you kind of micromanage each line of text for background, etc.
Right. Now, in the beginning, when you went from basic to advanced,
right?
When you switched over, you did not save the old one, right?
No, I didn't save the old one. Yeah.
So by going over, that means you did not save it. Okay.
Right.
All right. I just want to make sure, because that's what it looked like. I just want to make sure it was correct.
Yeah, you have the ability to kind of switch between the two using these two buttons.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I'm happy with the text here. If I continue on along the bar on the top, if I want to change it to, let's say, bold, I highlight the line I want and hit this B button right here. This bold button doesn't really actually make it bold. Well, it kind of does. All it really does is double the size of the font. Yeah. So it makes it bold, but it also doubles the size of the line. So you see line 1 compared to line 2, 3, 4, it's bold, but it actually takes double the size of the frame. So some people like to use it to emphasize certain lines. Some people don't. So, again, it's personal preference what you want to use. For cleanliness, you probably want to keep the bold away. This next button right here is for flashing. When you create animations and such, you have the ability to have it flash. So if, let's say, you want lines 1, 2, and 3, 4 to come up, but let's say you want line 2 to just flash by itself. If you highlight line 2 and hit the flash button here, what it'll do is have lines 1, 2, 3, and 4 come in, but line 2 will be flashing by itself. Like if you want to emphasize that line specifically. You can highlight everything to have everything flash, like so. Like highlight everything, hit the flash button, and it'll apply to everything. Or let's say you have text after it. Let's say you have text after it. This part won't flash, but this part will flash. So you can add text to it and have a certain words in the line. The flash is highlight the text that you have there and hit the flash button, and that'll remove all the flash from the text.
Can you show us how the flash will look?
Yeah, let me show that to you here. Let's say I want to have line 2 flash like I was talking about. I'm going to highlight this, hit the flash button. You notice that there are yellow or gray bars here to show that it's a flashing function. Now, I'm going to go into the animation part on it, but right here I'm just going to show you how the flash works compared to the other one, because you might be a little bit confused as far as how everything comes in. But the flash function, I'm going to show it to you first. So I'm going to preview this frame. You'll see line 1 come in by itself. Line 2 will come in and start flashing. Can you guys hear me, or are you getting like the static?
Yeah, we're getting some static.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to hit the preview button here, and you'll see that line 1 will come in, line 2 will flash, line 3, and then 4. Okay, so I'm going to hit play. Did you guys catch that, or did it go too fast?
Yeah, do it again. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Where was that?
Okay, line 1 is going to come in. Line 2 is going to flash. Line 3 is
going to at one time, right?
Yeah, it just flashes at one time, and then line 4 will come in. Okay, I'm going to hit play to preview it and check to see if it works for you, okay? And it might come really quick, so check it out. Line 1 comes in, line 2 kind of comes in flashing. Did it go too quick?
No, I see it.
Okay, I'll explain it to you when I get into the animation part, because it'll be a lot easier to see. So,
okay, just one question before you go to that part.
Yeah.
You get to that part. Now, when you flash, can you change the settings for the amount of time you want it to flash?
No, it only flashes a certain amount of time.
Okay.
You can't change the setting on the amount of flashing.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say I want to keep line 2 as flashing, but I'll keep that in mind later on after I get into the other parts. Okay, so I got lines 1, 2, 3, and 4. This next section right here is for shadow and outline. Just like in the basic frame, if I want to do a shadow, I could do that for each individual line now. Compared to the basic frame where outline and shadow applies to everything, I could do line 1, go here. This button right here is for shadow. If I hit the shadow button and choose my color, and I got a shadow behind line 1. Can you guys see that part?
Yes.
Okay, so under line 1 I have a shadow. I could go to line 2 and choose outline. So instead of a shadow, I just hit the outline button here. And let's say I choose a different color for the outline. And I got an outline around line 2. So I got shadow in line 1, outline around line 2. Line 3 I could do both by hitting both the shadow and the outline. See if I make it a different color, you can see it better. So I have a shadow and an outline for line 3. So I got shadow, outline, shadow, and outline. And line 4, if I want to just leave as is, I can leave it as is. So I have that option to kind of mix it around for just this frame by itself. And again, this is on the advanced frame. On the basic frame, again, it applies to everything within the frame. Whereas on the advanced frame, you can kind of mix it up. It doesn't have to be for specific lines. Let's say I remove everything here. And let's say I just want to have letter E on this one, be a shadow. Yeah, I can do that. So if they want to have letter I right here, just have an outline. Highlight that. There you go. Let's say I'll have line 3 and an E have a shadow and an outline. Yeah, I could do that if I want to. Yeah, that option kind of mix it up on the advanced frame compared to a basic frame. I mean, in reality, you're not going to put it up there. It might look kind of weird. People might think your sign's broken, but it really isn't. But you have that option too if you wanted to. As compared to a basic frame where everything applies to just the one frame itself. On the advanced frame, you can do and highlight everything, or highlight individual things, and have it kind of pop out or stick out for people. I actually think that looks pretty cool, but, depending what you want to do, So if you highlight that and you want to remove the shadow and the outline, just highlight whatever you want and just hit the outline and shadow button to remove it, and you're back to plain text again. Everything looks good, just hit save again. Now, do you guys have any other questions so far with the advanced frame? Okay, I'm going to get to the animation part of the advanced frame, but there's a little bit more we want to explain to the advanced frame. So keep that in mind. We're going to create another frame here for advanced. So I'm going to hit add frame. And now I'm in frame number 3. On the right hand side you see frame number 1, 2, and now 3. I'm going to go back into number 3 now, and again this is an advanced frame. I have that option to switch between frame B or A for basic or advanced, but I'm keeping it as advanced frame, so I'm going to keep it like so. Now with the advanced frame, you have the ability to add date, time, and temperature to your sign. On the basic frame, you cannot do that. And again, the advanced frame only allows you to do that. So to do that, what you want to do is look up top here. There's a little button here that looks like a calendar with a clock on it. Just click on that, and a token editor window will pop up. What this says is allows you to put date, time, and temperature on your sign in any format that you want. So let's say I want to go with my current day. So we could go month name or month number. So I'll do a month name. Hit the space bar. Hit day number. I'm going to type in a comma. And type in the year, 2000. I'm going to hit year right here. So I got April 4th, 2012. If I want to do it by numbers, I could do that too. Just go to month number. Hit like a separator, like a period. I can do day number. Hit a period. Or you can do a slash, whatever you want, or a dash, you know, whatever you want there. If I want to do a year, just click on year right here, and I got 4/4/2012. You can do any type of separator the way you want it, so you can format it the way you want it as far as presentation. You can also use day name if you want. Today's Wednesday, just click on Wednesday. If you want the year, or actually the time of the sign, just click on time. You have a 12-hour clock for preference. Hit the 12-hour, hit AM, PM. If you want to do 24-hour clock, I hit a space here. I can do 24-hour clock. Just hit the time 24-hour, and now it's a 24-hour clock. So you got two options here, 12-hour clock or 24-hour clock. If I want to do time and temperature, I got time here, I got my date. I'll do temperature now. I got Fahrenheit or Celsius. I can hit Fahrenheit, space, Celsius, you know, whatever way you want to format it. So on the advanced frame, you have the ability to add real-time data such as date, time, and temperature using that token button here on the top. If you close out, you want to edit this, just go back to the top, hit the token button, and you can bring it back up. Now you're not limited to just 4 lines. If you want to just put date and time on there, or just time and temp, let's say I'm going to go here, I'll delete all this right here. I just want to put time and temp up there. In large lettering, I can do that by using the divider lines to kind of split the 2 lines to make it 2 large lines. I just put a time here. Go to my second line, put temperature. And boom, I got time and temperature up there. Now, the behavior, just like any other text, so if I want to put in the time is, I can do that. And I can put the temp is, like so. But again, it's going to be too large, so I want to fit that into 4 lines if I wanted to then. So if I bring back the divider lines, I can just do this and do current time. I type in time. I can do current temp. And I have that set up. So you can kind of play around with the formatting with the tokens with text if you wanted to. Or if you don't want to put text at all, just put the tokens up there and then you'd be all set either way. You guys have any other questions so far with the advanced frame tokens?
So you call that the token button?
Yeah, that's a token button if you want date, time, and temperature on your sign. On the advanced frame 2, you have the ability for European or different characters. Just hit the EU button right here. It'll bring up the window for different characters with accents and such, so you could use that within your sign as well. Now for variables, this next button right here is for variables. Now, our signs are used by different types of companies, and they use it for different things. One is such like a restaurant. You can put like a menu price up there. Sometimes it's used as like a gas price changer, or some of them are even used like scoreboards. With the advanced frame, you can use this variable button here. I'm going to create another advanced frame. Now let's say I want to use this as a gas price changer. So I can do price 1. I do price 2. And price 3 for the different levels of gas. And this variable button right here, I go up top, hit the V for variables. It'll bring up a variable window. And what it is, it's a placeholder for a price. So I could do variable 1 here. I could go to frame or price number 2, hit variable 2. Price 3, variable 3. So what I do is I have a placeholder for different variables. So what it is when you go to send your message out there, instead of you creating a whole new message just to edit the price, you have a placeholder for a variable. And when you go to command at the top, go to advanced command and click on send variables. When you hit send variables, it gives you a value of 1 through 3, which is variables 1 through 3. And I could give it a price. So I got price 1 for a hint. I got a price 2 for a hint. And price 3 for a hint. So I can set a value to variable 1, variable 2, and variable 3. Because I have those as gas prices. Those are always going to change. So instead of me having to open up my old file and just edit just that part of text to send out the whole thing again, I can set a variable here as a placeholder, and I can set a price of variable 1, 2, and 3, and everything looks good. I'll just hit send, and they'll send out the price of just that variable. So I do $3, $3.50, and then $4. So when I hit send here, that $3 will apply to variable 1, $3.50 will apply to variable 2, $4 will apply to variable 3. And it works the same way with a scoreboard. If you have team 1 and team 2, and the score is always going to be updating, you can just update the whole thing by using the variables rather than just having to resend your message every time it changes. So you can use it as a stat board or a menu price. If you have a menu item at a restaurant and your prices always change, you can use this variable right here to update that, so you don't have to change the whole thing. Does anybody have any questions so far with that? Okay, so that's some of the things you can do with an advanced frame.
Okay, so the variable, you went to the command?
Yeah, you go to command, and go to advanced command and do send variables. That'll bring up the send variables window and lets you change the value of variable 1, 2, and 3. And you just send that out, and it just updates this little section, instead of having to resend the whole message again just to update this little part. You guys, you understand that part, or no? Okay, so going quickly through this advanced part, to change the font color for each line or individual letters and such, this button right here. This next section is for background, which only applies to the text. If you want to add background behind it to like the spaces, you have to hit a space bar or add more text to the background. These two I'll get to in a bit. The next button right here is for bold, or just doubles the size of the letter. For flashing, if you want a specific letter or word or line of text to flash, you highlight the text you want using this flash button. For random text, if you want to change the color for random color text, let's say I want to change this here, I can highlight that and hit the random color text button. And what it does is randomly changes the colors here. If you want to change it back to normal, just highlight the text again, hit random color text. It'll remove the colors. In case it goes to black, just hit white here. It'll bring it back to whatever color you set it to. If you want to put it back to random color text, highlight it again, hit the random color text.
Can we set the color of the variable?
Yeah, you can set the color of the variable under command and go to advanced command and set variables, and let you choose the foreground and the background color as well.
Okay.
Now again, if you want to bring it back to regular text, just highlight the random color text, hit the random color text again. If it goes to black, just hit white or whatever color you want, and it changes it back. Now on the tokens, it applies again, just like any other line of text. The tokens, you could adjust the color, add a shadow, etc. to it. The behavior is exactly the same. The only difference is that it tells real-time data on there. And the same applies with the variables. If you want to change the colors, it's going to be through that variable window. And again, you can use shadow and outline for everything in the advanced frame. If you want to add date, time, and temperature on there, use the token window right here. Any accents on the characters, you can use that here. And again, the variable button will bring that up. Now, if everything looks good, just do File and Save. I'm going to hit Save. And now we're going to get into animating the advanced frame. If you remember on the basic frame, I go back to the basic frame here. Everything to the right of this basic frame will apply to just this line right here. So I have travel in, wait 4 seconds, travel out. Again, this applies to everything within this frame. And this is on the basic frame. On the advanced frame, if I want to have everything come in and leave at the same time, what I have to do is go to the advanced frame. I'm going to click this button right here. This button is a global frame function window button. What it does is I click on it, and it'll change the white box on the left-hand side for the advanced frame to a dark turquoise blue to a gray box right here. So if I click on this top box right here, and I'll choose the same thing, travel in, wait 4 seconds, travel out, I'll hit OK, and now everything will apply to all 4 lines. So I have the same exact animation I have on the basic frame, I'm applying it to this advanced frame. But it plays it a little bit differently, where it has each line come in individually. They'll wait 4 seconds, and they all leave at the same time. So you have a cleaner presentation. So let me preview that for you. Right here, hitting the preview frame button. Let me know if it lags on you. I'm going to hit play. And again, it's going to play lines 1, line 2, line 3, line 4 in order. They'll all wait in 4 seconds, and then all leave at the same time. So I'm going to hit preview frame. Window will come up. You got line 1 coming in. That'll wait. That'll wait for line number 2 to come in. Now wait for line number 3. I got all 4 lines. I'm going to wait 4 seconds, and then all leave at the same time. So again, this is a global function button, meaning if I were to hit that and it changes to this color, this animation will apply to everything within the frame. So the behavior is just like a basic frame. Because by default, if I were to remove that, you'll see that the white box is back, and you'll see that it's split into 4 lines. So that I could actually have 4 lines of text with different animation for each one. So let's say I could do frame in for this one, and I'll do frame out. I'll do click on frame line number 3. I'll do zoom in and zoom out. I go to line number 4, and I choose a different one right here, like full open and full close. So if you look at it compared to the basic frame only lets you choose animation for the complete frame. On the advanced frame, I can do each individual animation for each line. And that means it'll apply to every line, the animation. So this will apply to this line. This will apply to this line. This applies to another line, This applies to the last line. Let me remove this 4-second wait, and I'll show you what I mean. So when you have 4 individual lines of animation, it'll treat this frame as one frame. It'll treat it as frame number 2. It'll treat it as frame number 3 and frame number 4 within this one frame itself. So they won't come in and leave at the same time. They'll come in and play separately for each line. So if I were to preview that, let me show that to you and see what you mean. So hit play. You'll see line 1 come in, and that's frame number 1 of the 4 lines. You got frame number 1 come in, it'll leave. I removed that 4-second wait so you can see how it works. You got frame number 1, that's gone. Now you got frame number 2 come in, or line number 2. That's going to come in and then leave. And I got line number 3 come in. It's going to come in and then leave. And you got frame number 4, or line number 4, come in and leave. So if you were to have 4 separate lines of animation for each one, when it goes to this frame, when it comes time to play, it'll treat each line as an individual frame. So the whole frame will come in and leave at the same time like a basic frame. They will play each line individually, and when all 4 are done, it will go to frame number 3, which is right here. Did you guys understand that part as far as animation? Do you guys have any questions regarding that? Okay, so with the advanced frame, if you want everything to come in and leave at the same time, you want to use this global frame function button. What that'll do is apply it so everything comes in and leaves at the same time. It works better as a cleaner presentation for the advanced frame. The reason for an advanced frame having it off by default because it allows you to individually set an animation for each line. So you can have better control for each line as far as presentation. Now the reason for the splitting of lines, I'll show that to you right now. So we got this right here. I'm going to make this one just a global frame function, so it behaves just like my other frame. I'll hit that. That's going to have travel in, wait 4 seconds, and travel out. As you get more proficient with a program, you're probably going to memorize all of these letters right here, so you can just type it in without having to look. You know, it depends what you want to do. So you just hit OK here. I'm going to go back to these frames. I'm going to ignore these other frames because I'm just showing you a demo of what you can do with the advanced frame. I'm going to add another advanced frame under here. So add another advanced frame here, and I'm going to keep these individual lines now. Now the reason for the individual lines, it kind of works like an overhead projector. You could have different layers of frames or templates on top of each other, and they'll combine to make one large one. So let's say you're at a movie theater, or at a theater of some sort. I'm going to put headline up top here. Let's make that one color. Okay, so I got headline for the first frame. I'm going to go to another frame and add an advanced frame under it. So let me zoom out on it so you get a better overview. So let's say I got a headline right here. And I'm going to go to my second frame under it. Now if I notice, I got these 2 lines blank. I left them blank intentionally because what it is when I preview this frame, this headline will stay above it. And then this next frame will show my second line. So I'll go message 1. I could do like show times or whatever. I'll do like show times. Then I could put like a show time of like say 7 p.m. make this a different color to make it pop. And I'm going to add animation for that. Actually, let's make this one large line right here. I'm going to show that scroll function I was talking about earlier today. I'm going to use a travel in, travel out because my text is going past the frame. Compared to a basic frame, I could use a travel in, travel out function for a scroll. And I could go add another frame under it for another advanced frame. And I could put like time on there if I wanted to. And I'll add another frame here for like temperature if I wanted to. So if I look at my overview of my last 4 frames, I got a headline up top. And then I got my show times on the second line. And then I got my time on the third line. And I got temperature on the fourth line. So I got frame 5, 6, 7, and 8. They're actually going to combine together. Because if you notice, I don't have an animation for this top headline right here. Because it's actually going to stay right there while these scroll by. So, it's on frame number 5. I'm going to use this frame inspector window to kind of move these to the top. So I could use that by using the up and down arrow keys, kind of move it to the order, like so. So I'm actually moving these frames all the way to the beginning of the message. So now I got my headline show times to the very beginning of the message, and I got my basic frame at 5, 6, 7, 8 for the other advanced frames too. So let's say I want to preview this message. It's going to do this. It's going to play headline. That's going to stay while show times scroll by. Then you're going to have time and then temperature all under headline. So I'm going to hit the preview button here to preview all. I'm going to hit play. And you got headline pop up with show times. Time. And temperature. Did you guys see that, or did that headline disappear? There might have been a lag on internet because it was showing on my end. I got some reports of people missing some things there. You guys see that or no? Basically, on the advanced frame, you can kind of layer different frames on top of each other to kind of have them do different things, which is why you have the ability to do different lines of text and animation. So you kind of layer text on top of each other to do different things. And that's the point of having it. If you're not going to be using it, and you just want to use the advanced frame for some of the other functions, just use this global frame function button right here. So they all come in and leave at the same time. So it comes with a cleaner presentation. Now if everything looks good, you want to go ahead and save it. Now do you guys have any other questions regarding the advanced frame? Okay, we'll go to some more of the advanced frame. So we're going to add another advanced frame here. Now your advanced frame gives you the ability to add images and tokens, or images with tokens, images with text. So We're going to add another frame here, make it advanced. And we want to add some images to our sign. So if you have pictures that you want to put up on your sign, what you have to do is you're going to go to logo at the top and click on ViViD Graphic Creator. Now this is a companion program. It's like a little graphic creator program that you have to use in order to import images to your sign. So you go to logo, do ViViD Graphic Creator, and it's going to choose the graphic creator window, which will pop up. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
It should have popped up the graphic creator window.
Yes.
So this graphic creator window, okay, good. And this graphic creator window lets you create your own animations or import photos that you want to use. So by default, it's probably going to give you the size of your sign, which I have is a 32 by 96. So by default, it's going to give you 32 by 96. So it's going to give you something like this as far as view. Now, if you were to create an animation or import a photo, that means it's going to be stuck at this size right here. So if you have a photo that's smaller or larger, what you want to keep in mind is a 32 by 96, you get to work with a certain amount of pixels. 32 by 96 is about 3,000 pixels, like 3,072 calculating right now. If you try to import an image that's larger than that, it's going to try to squeeze it down to that amount of pixels, and you'll probably lose some of the detail. So let's say you're working with a photo that's about 1 megapixel, and it's about 1 million. If you try to import 1 million pixels into your sign, you'll try to squeeze it into 3,000 pixels, you'll lose some of the detail. So the best thing to do is try to import photos and kind of shrink them down using Paint or another program to make it to the matrix size of your sign, which is 32 by 96 or whatever number you have. So right now I have an image right here I want to import, so I'll do File, the Import Image, and let me choose some files here. So I'll do first name or file name. I'm going to search for some images here. Let's see. Let's go to a different folder. Got some basic images here. Let's go with this one right here. I want to import this image. I'll hit Open. It's going to import that image. I'm going to hit Insert, and I'll kind of squeeze it into my screen. So obviously it's kind of stretched into 32 by 96. If I want to cut it, I could use this box right here and kind of squeeze it so it fits. Now if I were to save this image right here and import it, it'll be right here, the image, but I'll have a lot of empty space here. So the best thing you want to do is kind of cut it so it's the right size of your sign, or if you want to use it with other text. So let's say I'm going to cut this in half right now. So I'm going to go here, I'll do resize, and let's say I'll cut it to, let's say 50 pixels. So I got 32 height, 50 pixels wide, and now it's 50 pixels. It's still a little bit bigger. Let's say I want to cut it some more, so I'll kind of move it right here. I want to cut some of this off here. I'll do resize. Resize again. Let's say I'll cut off another 20 pixels, so make it 30 pixels wide. That's a little bit better, you know. Gonna cut it, move it around a little bit. Let's say I want to cut off another few pixels here. Right click it, resize again. Let's say I make it 29 pixels. And that's my image I want to save. Everything looks good. That's going to be an image I want to save. I go to File, I'll do Save As. And let's say, I'll save it here. Let's see, go to, I'll do test photo, I'll hit save. And now it's going to save it as a CXT file or an image file that I can import through my program. So if I go to my message program, my main window, and I made it 32 high, so if I were to import it as a photo, what I have to do, again, this is only on the advanced frame. For images and logos that you want to import, you can only do that in the advanced frame. On the basic frame, it keeps everything simple. What you see on the window is what you're going to get. Regular text. Everything's going to be controlled by that property window. With the advanced frame, it gives you the ability to add images, but I made mine as a 32 high. So what I have to do is I have to import it here, and I have to remove these divider lines to make sure that it fits. Because if I try to import it, let's say I import it here on this top line right here. I do logo, hit browse. I'm going to browse for that file. And hit open and insert it. It inserts this whole thing at the top right here. So it's actually not, it's cutting off right there. So what you want to do is you want to import it. You want to import it so it takes up the whole screen. So you have to remove these divider lines. So when I import it again, I do logo and browse. See if you can find that here. See if I remember where I saved it here. Go back to see where I saved it and it can pop up for me. Go here. Go back to the message schedule or go back to the other window. Browse for that logo I saved. Test photo, open, and again it's only about 29 pixels wide, but 32 high. Hit insert, and now I got my logo here. Now when I import it through that way, it treats it as regular text. So I just type in my text right here, like so. Just make it a different color to make it pop out. I got my logo right here along with my text, and it acts like animation. So if I want to have it animate, I can have it travel in, wait for 4 seconds, travel out, so it treats it as text. So if I were to preview this window right here, you see that it comes in with the text, like so. Have it wait for 4 seconds, and I can have it leave. So again, I created this logo under the graphic creator and I saved it, and that allows me to import it as a logo file and as part of my text message. Now, do you have any other questions regarding that? Okay, so let's say I have this logo and I want to have it so I'm going to add some more to it. So let's say I want to have this logo stay there while I have text scrolling by. Again, this works with the advanced frame only. What I could do is I add another frame here, and I'm going to go ahead and import that image again. So I'm going to import that logo, do logo, and do browse. I'm going to browse for that file again, hit insert. And this is where this button comes into play, this fixed frame button right here. Let's say you have a logo that you want to stay there while your text is scrolling by. Just hit the logo and hit the fixed frame button up top, and then I'll move that all the way to the far left, just like I have above here. But the difference is if I leave that here as a fixed frame, I'm going to add another frame under it. And if you look, this logo is taking up the left-hand side. You have to leave that blank. If you add another frame under it, another advanced frame, it now splits it up. So I can leave and add some text here. So I can do line 1 here, line 2 for text, line 3, line 4. And I'm going to bring that flash that you were talking about earlier. So I'm going to highlight this, hit the flash button for line 2. And I'm going to add color to this as well. I got line 2 flashing, and I have that as a different color. And now I got a fixed frame, meaning this advanced frame will keep the logo here on the left-hand side. This gray area, meaning it's leaving that space open for that logo, while these will come in and scroll. So I will choose a animation for this one, do like auto in, wait for 4 seconds, and auto out. I want to have it apply to everything, so I'm going to hit this global frame function button. And now I'm going to move this to the very beginning of the message here. I'm going to add another advanced frame under it, because it's still a fixed frame I want to use. And now I can add more messages here. I got the whole thing flashing. I'll keep it as the whole thing flashing. Give it different colors too. So if you look at the fixed frame button, what that does is move the logo to the far left. And just like I was talking about with the different layers, you can have this logo stay on the far left while lines 1, 2, 3, and 4 will come in. That'll leave, and then I got another message frame for this these set of messages. And again, the logo will stay on the far left because you see it is designated by this gray area right here. So if I were to preview everything, let me preview it all right here. The logo is going to be on the far left-hand side, while the text messages are coming in and flashing. Did you guys see the flashing and the logo staying there too?
Yes.
Yeah, but so the logo will stay there while you have lines 1, 2, 3, and 4 flashing, and then you got the next frame going after that. So that's what the fixed frame does. It allows you to put a logo up there and use it as a placeholder while you have text come in from the left-hand side or right-hand side. Now, does that have any questions with the advanced frame? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of information there for just the advanced frame.
Yeah, for the advanced frame, I noticed that when you did the flashing on the message 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
It flashed more than once versus on the base. I think it was on the basic frame. If I just check my notes, it only flashed, or the advanced frame 1, it only flashed once.
Yeah.
So it could. So on this advanced frame, it could flash 4 times.
It'll advance, but
I counted 4, but it could have been more.
It could have been more depending on what you put. Like if you put a wait function in between there, it'll just wait 4 seconds while the whole thing is flashing, and then it'll just leave.
Right.
Yeah.
But according to, let me see. Yeah, when we were going from basic to advanced, it was, you mentioned to me that it will only flash once when you press flash.
Yeah, the flash on the animation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but this time you could actually get it flashing longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Times.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it because you're allowing a text to go in or animation?
Yeah. Yeah, you're kind of using like the animation for the text to come in and wait for a few seconds, and you're adding like other logos there too, so it adds to the time. So the flash function lets you choose the line that you want to flash.
Okay.
Yeah, the advanced frame has a lot of things to it. So, trying to get to it, to try to cover a lot of it as possible.
Right.
And, try to make it understandable for you guys. Because it's basically like kind of play around with the program to see what you like to do on the advanced frame.
Right. Okay.
The behavior for the advanced frame is the same compared to the basic frame, but the advanced frame lets you do a little bit more as far as presentation too.
Okay.
Yeah, with the logos and the text and the date, time, and temperature, that's all going to be in the advanced frame. Basic frame just keeps it simple for you, where you just have plain text up there.
Plain
that's
text.
It.
8 pixels per line.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
On the advanced frame, you can have larger text, you can have smaller text. On the basic frame, you can have larger text and smaller text too. But everything with the variables here, from date, time, and temperature, etc., that's going to be all in the advanced frame. If you want to put logos or photos up there, it's all going to be in the advanced frame. So you want to keep that in mind when you're working with your sign.
Right, but on a basic frame, the larger the letters, the shorter the space.
Yeah.
Right, or the message.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the advanced frame because each letter takes a certain amount of pixels.
Right.
So when you make your text larger, it's going to take more space.
Okay.
Yeah. And that applies to both the basic and the advanced frame. Now with the backgrounds, it's the same thing with both the basic frame and the advanced frame. We're going to go into frame, add another basic frame here. And we're going to go to the background section. On the CD that came with your sign, you're supposed to have some basic animation files included. Those are just basic demos that you could use. You hit the BK button here, and you're going to go to Browse File. When you go to Browse File, it's going to give you an option to look for files. You could use like AVIs for your sign or MPEG files. Or I'm just going to go to my CD and go to the animation library or the backgrounds and go there, and it has some basic text that I could use. So I'm working on a full color text that's about 32 high. So I go to my 32 high CT text or color text, double click that, and I have some basic animations that I could use for my sign. Let's say I go to my blue butterfly one here, I hit OK and open, and I get a little blue butterfly here. It's an animated file, so I got 23 frames in there. If I wanted the whole thing to animate, I could choose a start frame and an end frame. 1 to 23, that's going to be the whole thing. If I want to preview this animation, I could use the up and down arrow buttons to preview it. If I want to choose a specific frame within the animation, let's say I like frame number 4, I just do start 4 and end 4, and I'll take that one frame by itself. So let's say I want to use the whole thing, all 23 frames, start and end 1 to 23, hit OK, and now I have that as my background. By default it's stretch, but if I want to put it to the left, I can do that using the left justified. If I want to put it to the center, I can put it to the center. If I want to put it to the right, I can put it to the right. So I got my animation here, and when I go to my text edit section under the property window, I can type in hi. And I got my background in there while I have my text there to the side. If I want to add more lines, I could add more lines like so. And just like any other basic frame, it works exactly the same way. The only difference is you have a background there now. So I could put the text to the center. I could move my animation to the left. Kind of play around with that. And the animation works exactly the same way. If I want to add animation to the frame, I'll just choose this, wait 2 seconds, and then fall off. So I got animations here. Now let's say I want to remove that animation. I just click on the frame, hit the BK button. It shows the last background I updated. Let's say I just want frame number 1 instead of the animation. It might be a distraction for some people. So I do start end, frame number 1, hit OK, and I just have the still frame of the butterfly instead of the whole thing. If everything looks good there, just do File, do Save. And now I got my background along with my text. Let's say I want to go to advanced frame now, do the same thing. I'll do frame, hit add A frame. I'm going to add a background to here too, hit BK. I'm going to choose a different background this time. Let's say I go to drizzle right here. Hit this. I got drizzle. Hit OK. I got that cloud. Looks like it's drizzling a little bit. I'll move it to the left. And if I wanted to, I could add tokens there. Let's say I want to add time. Remove the flash there. And say I want to add temperature on there too. And then just add a random message there. So now I got time, temperature, and hello. And I got my animated drizzling there on the side. And now I could add animation there if I wanted to as well. So I could do an auto in, wait 4 seconds, auto out, and now I got animation for the whole thing if I wanted to. So you kind of play around with the backgrounds. You could even add the logo you created as a background if you wanted to. You could add that as a background or go with the ones that were supplied on the CD. Or you can make your own through that graphic creator program. So the behavior for both the advanced frame and the basic frame are the same. You're just adding a background to the text behind it if you wanted that option. If you want to change the speed of the background if it's animated, you use the up and down buttons right here to change the speed of the animation. And that's in frames per second. If everything looks good, just hit File and Save. Now, do you guys have any other questions so far? Okay, so let's say we're done with our message here. Everything looks good. We created our backgrounds. We got some animations here. We got basic date, time, and temperature. We got some parts of the advanced frame. Everything looks good. We're going to send it out to the sign now. So what we want to do is go to the top here and hit this little globe with a telephone on there. That means it's going to send out this message to the sign. So when I hit that, it's going to upload this file that we created to the sign. And what it does is it'll play it 24 hours until you change it again. So depending on where you guys are set up, you might want to do 24-hour, you might want to do different schedules. Depends how you want to have it set up. Most of you guys going to have it 24-hour or you going to have them on schedules?
Let's say 24 hours.
24-hour? Okay, so if you're going to keep it at 24-hour, then you can just create your message here and just do Command Send or hit the little telephone button here on the top. And what that is, it just plays it 24 hours until you send another message to it.
Okay, sorry, so you go to Command?
Yeah, you can go to Command here on the top,
right,
and do Send.
And that would automatically set it for 24 hours.
Yeah, this will take this file that you're working on and send it there and play for 24 hours until you change it again. It's the same thing as this button right here, Send to the sign. So whatever you have in front of you, that's going to play 24 hours until you change it again.
Okay, and if you decide to close one day, you don't want it to be playing?
The best thing to do is, if you're going to be having it to like a certain schedule, or let's say you close unexpectedly, like you have to close for a day or something.
Yeah, exactly.
What you can do is just open up the program and send a blank message out there, like one frame, hit the space bar and send it out there so it just turns off. Or you go to command and do set on off schedule. But I'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
So for now, let's say you like your message, you want to send it out there to play 24-hour, is do command send, and it'll play 24 hours until you send your message again. Let's say everything's cool, you want to keep it at 24 hours, then you're good. Now, let's say in the future you want to schedule your messages, so you want certain files to play at specific times during the year, during times of the day, etc. So, to do that, what you have to do is go to command at the top, and you go to schedule messages. When you go to command schedule messages, it'll bring up this scheduler window right here. You guys see that window?
Yes.
Okay, this scheduler window right here will allow you to take multiple files that you created, because I'm sure you're going to be creating multiple files anyway, and upload them to the sign at different times. So with this scheduler window right here, you're going to see a blank template. The next thing you do is hit New on the right-hand side, and it's going to give you an edit date time window. And what this allows you to do is set a specific time for the file that you want to choose. So let's say that file we just created a few moments ago, we want to play it from today until the end of the year. So we have a start time of today, and let's say we'll have it play until the end of December. So I choose a date, I click on the 31st of December, and I got today until end of December. Now let's say we look at the start time and end time for that. We got it going from 12 to 12, so that's basically 24 hours until the 31st of December. So let's say I want that file to play from, let's say, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I got today, starting today until December 31st, 2012, and it's going from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. So everything looks good there. I could choose any time during the days of the week I want. So let's say I only wanted to play Monday through Friday. I uncheck Saturday and Sunday, so that means I'm going to play from today to the 31st, only Monday through Friday. If I want the whole week, to do select all. So say I just want Thursday, Friday, Saturday, uncheck these days. So say I want everything, just select all again. So it lets you choose your scope from start day to end day, and it lets you choose the days during the week you want those to play. If you want to play at certain times of the day, you have it set here. So I have it playing from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. only. So let's say if I were to hit browse, I'm going to save to that file I saved. So I got today's demo. Let me try to find it here. So I got today's demo right here, 4/4/2012. I'll hit open. And now I'm setting that file that I just created for today until December 31st. I got all days of the week, and I got it from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Everything looks cool. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And now I got that demo that we just created, and it's going to only play from today until the end of the year. Let's say I have another file I want to play from a different time. Let's say I only want to play during the summertime. I hit New. I'm going to choose the dates that I want it to play. Let's say from beginning of June to end of September. let's say end of September right here. Let's say I wanted to play it 24 hours during those days. So I got 12 to 12, basically. And I'm going to choose a different file. Let's say I choose a file from like January or something, you know. Hit open, and that's going to be another file I got set to play. So I hit OK, and now I got 2 files there. I got 2 files queued up. I got one playing from today until the end of the year, and I got another file playing during the summertime. So as you create more files, and you want them to play at different times, the best thing to do is to use a scheduler program right here, because that'll work for you the best. Do you guys have any questions regarding the scheduler? Now what you want to keep in mind, if you want your sign to turn off or not play at a specific time, you want to make sure that you schedule it on the correct time. Because if it's not, it's going to play like a date and time on there, like as a default. And I'll show you how to set it up so you can have it turned off at a specific time too. But if you're using this schedule file, you want to keep track of what you have out there as far as scheduled times. Because if by chance you have something playing that you want to play, but you don't have it scheduled, it'll just show you like a date and time on there as a default. So the best thing to do is always save your schedule. So you hit save. We're going to save it for test schedule for today. So 4/4/2012 schedule. Hit save. And then the best thing to do is always work with one schedule file. That way you have a track of what you've added there, and you can always delete what you don't want and add to it. So let's say I have 2 files. I'm going to add some more files to here. Let's say I want this to play from, let's say 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day until 2013. But if you check this out right here, you see this continue box on the bottom? If I were to hit the continue box right here, what that means is going to play starting on the 4th, which is today, at 7 a.m. And then after today, it's going to play 24 hours all day until 2013. And on that day, it's going to end at 8 o'clock. If I were to go and have this box unchecked, that means it's going to have this file play from 7 to 8 every day, from this day to this day. So if I want to have a big 24-hour chunk in between where it starts and ends at a specific time, I'm going to use this continue box right here. So let's say if that's cool, I wanted to play at 7 o'clock that day, play 24 hours in between, and on the 4th of 2013, I wanted to end at 8 o'clock, I'm going to use this continue box right here. I'll hit OK, and now I got 3 slots to use. So you can pretty much keep going and add to the list. Just make sure you want to file and save it all the time. And if you don't want certain files, you can always highlight one and delete. And just keep, if you want to send it out, do Command Send Schedule. And that'll upload this schedule out to the sign. So you'll be all set as far as scheduling. You just got to keep track of what you have there. Do you guys have any questions with the scheduling? Okay, so let's say you're happy with the scheduling. I'm going to go back to the main program and explain some of the little things here before we wrap it up. So I'm going to go into the main window again. And I'm going to go to Command here on the top. So obviously you got Command, you got Send. What this will do is send out your message that you're currently working on. Again, that'll play 24 hours until you send out another message. Default message, what it'll do is upload the message you have there and set as a default. So if there's nothing scheduled to play, it'll just play this main message. If you want to bring up your scheduler program again, just go to Command and do Schedule Messages. It'll bring up the scheduler program for you. Preview frame is just to preview the single frame that you have selected. Preview all is to preview everything, just like we mentioned before. Now let's say you want to see what's currently playing on the sign. You have your computer set up where you can't look at the sign through a window. Just do Command and do Sign Image Viewer. and that'll show a little window and give you a preview of what's currently playing out there. The command under Get Sign Information is the same thing as this button right here. It just gives you basic information on the sign, current time, temperature on the sign, etc. Remote File Manager. Let's say your computer crashes and you lose some of the files that you've uploaded to your sign. If you go to Remote File Manager, it lets you go to the CPU board in the sign and see what's on the memory, and you can pull out files from there that you lost and bring it back to your computer. It's going to be the same thing with Remote Schedule Manager. If in case you lose a schedule file, you can go to Remote Schedule Manager, connect to the sign, and pick up the old schedule that you had there before. Under Command, you got Set Full Brightness. Let's say your sign is kind of dim at the moment, and it's kind of cloudy or dark. During the day, you want to set to full brightness. That'll put it to 100%. When you put it to 100%, you want to keep in mind that it keeps it at 100% until you change it again. So let's say you put it at 100% at 12 noon, and you have stuff playing during the night, and you have neighbors like residential or other businesses around the area. That's going to keep it at 100% during the night, so it's going to be very bright. So you may or may not get letters or calls from neighbors that are around you. So you want to keep that in mind. If you hit Set Full Brightness, that it keeps it at 100% until you change it again. Now under Command and Set Brightness Level, it's the same thing. So let's say you set the brightness level from 0 to 100%. Let's say I want to dim it down to 50%. I type in 50, hit OK, and that'll keep it at 50% until you change it again. So again, keep in mind, it'll keep it there until you change it again. If I want to put it down to 30%, just type in 30, hit OK. It'll reduce it to 30%. Another option here is a Set Brightness Schedule. You click on Set Brightness Schedule, it'll bring up a chart, and it breaks up the day in 2-hour increments. And you can set the percentage from 0 to 100% for the brightness schedule. So I've seen people dim it down to as low as 20% during the night, and 100% is going to be around there around 12 noon. So that'll be the brightest setting. And it'll just dump down after that to down to 20% during the end of the day. So you get to play around with the 2-hour increments to see what suits you the best. Hopefully you don't get any letters from anybody. So you go to Schedule Brightness, and then you got Schedule Auto Brightness by Photocell. So when you click on that, your sign has a built-in temperature sensor. That's why you have that ability to add temperature to your sign if you want to display it. You set Auto Brightness by Photocell, that'll read the ambient light on your sign and adjust the brightness accordingly. So weather's always changing. So you want to set Auto Brightness by Photocell, and what it'll do is just adjust automatically according to the ambient light. You want to make sure that the temperature sensor and Photocell, which is pretty much combined into one unit, is installed in the correct spot, like not in between the sign or in a dark area. Otherwise, it's going to have one reading the whole time. If your temperature sensor is installed in between the signs and covered up, the heat's going to build up from the sign, and the temperature is going to read incorrectly. It's going to be covered up and dark too, so it's just going to have one reading. So you want to make sure when they install that, they install it in a clear place, free from any heat, so the ambient temperature and lighting won't get stuck at one reading. Now, the having it turn off at a specific time, you got that set on-off schedule, so you can tell it to power on and power off at a specific time. You have the ability to 4 different times that you want to choose. You just choose your time you want it to turn on, and you choose your time you want it to turn off. So if you have 4 different periods during the year that you want to have it play, you have these different 4 that you can choose. Go back to Command, you do a Set Reboot Schedule. It's the same thing, where you can have the sign reboot at a specific time. You probably don't really have to do that, but if you want to do it just to do it, you can. Just kind of reboot the sign at a specific time during the time of the day. If you go back to command and go to advanced command, you get to adjust the temperature. That's what I'm telling you about the temperature sensor of the sign. You want to make sure that it's set in an open spot where it's clear from any heat coming from outside source or anything like that. So it'll read the temperature as best as it can. If it is reading maybe a few degrees off, plus or minus, you got that ability to adjust the offset. Using the adjust temperature under advanced command. Send variables, again, it's like the menu price or gas price change. You go send variables and it lets you choose the value of the variables, how many you have on your message, and lets you set them up without having to open up your old file, adjust the price, and then reset the whole thing again. You go back to command and go to advanced command. You got delete files not in schedule. So as before, when you're creating your schedule files, you're going to be uploading those files to your sign. And when you keep uploading those files, it's going to take up memory space in your sign. Even for the ones that you're not using, they're still going to be on there. So if you want to delete and make space for your other messages, you do delete files not in schedule, and it'll just delete the ones that you're no longer using. Sync sign soft ID is more along the lines of tech support, in case you have like multiple signs around the area that you want to program, or if you want to set up with a soft ID. You probably don't really have to change anything. You're most likely going to be working one-on-one, so you really don't have to worry about that. Set sign network configuration, brightness limiter, that's all along the lines of tech support, so you really have to worry about that. A brightness limiter lets you choose a max level for nighttime and daytime, as well as a nighttime range. So you kind of, if you want to leave everything as default, I say just don't really have to touch anything there. Just leave it as is. Under command, under advanced command, update sign firmware, sign, reboot, and format SD card and reboot sign, you really don't have to worry about. If you have the schedule for the reboot schedule, you really don't have to worry about the advanced command. Now, one important thing too is when you're scheduling your messages, is to always set your clock to the correct time on your computer. The sign has its own internal clock, but it syncs up to the time on your own computer. So what you want to make sure is that the clock on your computer is set correctly along with the date, so your schedule will work together with that. We got some customers before where they send out their message and they're telling me, hey, my message isn't playing. Why not? I have it scheduled at this time and it's not playing. Well, we looked and checked out their clock, and their clock was set to 1993, and it was like 2007. So I was like, yeah, you might want to change that for you. So yeah, you change the clock, it syncs up there, and then what it does is every time you send a message to it, it syncs up to the clock on your computer. So the sign doesn't automatically time change when it comes to it. It'll adjust to whatever you set on your computer as far as the clock and date. So always want to keep that in mind too. And that's basically it for the ViViD program. Do you guys have any other questions so far?
On the frame, there's one called animation. What does it do?
It's the same thing. It's like kind of like a background. When you have an animation, let me create another frame here. It looks kind of like the same way with a background, where if you have an animated background, you can put that in the front and have it as an animation rather than having text above it. So I'll show you the difference between the two. Let's say I go to this BK button right here. I hit browse file. I'm going to look for that, let's say choose a basketball right here. Hit open. I'm going to hit OK, and it's a spinning basketball. Like so. Now with a background, I could add text above it if I wanted to. So if I add text above it, it'll show up as text above the background. But let's say I don't want text above it, I just want it straight animation. So what I have to do is just remove this background here. I'm going to go to logo or frame and do animation. I'm going to do animation and do the same thing. Do insert file, just like I did. I'm going to choose that same background again, that basketball. Hit open. Hit OK. And it makes it an animation file. So it makes it a standalone animation file instead of having the ability to add text to it. So if I were to preview this frame right here, it's just a basketball spinning, like so. So if I were to create an animation going to the ViViD Graphic Creator, let's go back to the ViViD Graphic Creator. I'll create a new file here. Let's say make it 32 by 96, the size of my sign. And let's say I have like an animated file here. I go to stamp. I'll do the same basketball one here, but now I'm going to add another frame. Let's say I do a basic 4-frame animation. Because in the graphic creator, it lets you choose logos or create your own logos, or also create your own animation. So if you want to create your own animation, it works just like a flip book. I got 4 frames here. I'm going to have it animate, so I'll have it move across the way. So I got to move here. I'll move it like this. Create this. So if I look at my animation, I have it moving pretty much across the screen, right? I'll do File, I'll do Save As. I'll do Rolling Basketball. And it's going to save it as an animation file. I'll hit Save. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my Message Composer window. And this is one animation here. I'm going to go Frame, go to Animation. I'm going to insert that basketball animation I created. The rolling basketball right here. I hit Open. I can hit the preview button if I want to see it. I hit OK. I got 2 animations in there, which is my first one and the other one. They're kind of layered on top of each other, but say I just want the basketball one I created by itself. I just go to this frame, delete it. I'm going to add another frame here. Again, animations are only for the advanced frame, not the basic frame. So I'm going to go to Frame, go Animation. I'm going to look for that file again, which is a rolling basketball. I'll hit OK. And I got an animation right here. So if I were to preview this animation, hit the preview button, and I got my rolling basketball. It pops up really quick. But that file I created is basic animation with no text or anything. So I got my basketball rolling across the screen. Did you guys catch that? Or
Yes.
did you want me to repeat it?
It's fine, thank you.
Okay. Did you have any other questions on the program?
Okay, other than the program, what are the tech support hours? Are they a 24-hour service or?
The tech support is usually, it's 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, so 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
And is there any information we need when we do call?
You want to make sure that you have your sales order number or serial number for your sign.
Serial number.
Yeah. If you don't have that, the best thing to do is contact your dealer. They should have that on record for you, and they should be able to give that to you.
Okay.
And if you have the name of your dealer, we could try to look for it under that dealer as well.
Okay, and what is the phone number that we could contact if we run into any issues?
You guys, what's the name of your company?
We're McDonald's.
Oh, I believe you guys have a different number. So you want to contact Edison? They would give you a specific number for yours.
Okay, so if I contact
Yeah.
Addison, they'll give me the number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions?
Now, all of this information is also going to be sent to us with a manual, right?
Right,
Okay.
Yeah. This is just if you want to see a demo of it, if you have any questions on it, or if you want to come back and watch it again. You would have it on a CD as well as like some training videos on CD.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. You guys have any other questions? That basically wraps up the webinar. You guys are welcome to join the webinar again if you want to listen to me repeat myself. And you guys are welcome to call in, ask any questions regarding the software.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
No.
Okay, we should be good for today
Thanks.
for attending the webinar.
Thank you.
Okay, and again, you're always welcome to call in if you guys have any questions or join the webinar again. If you want to hear me repeat myself. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.